previously on the LCS.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Week 7 of the North American LCS. Our special extended LCS weekend will begin.
They're going for it.
Teleport home guard, he pauses the flash. Wow, there is the Wombo combo. Can he get onto a Nintendo next? No, he repels, but where's he going to? He's going to come back down. He's got away. I don't believe it.
Nintendo with the great escape.
1-2 on that. Oh, it's going to be Nick will get baited in. Nick, why?
They probably feel pretty good about that one because that was a tough road back in that game. This is advantage curse, or they're just waiting.
Wow.
Oh no, Saints going in. 45.
Paces game, St. Vicious goes in, the aggression goes down, St. Vicious taking low, as is Scara, and the ignite comes out, the exhaust is used, Scara goes down, its first blood, it's Copter picked it up, and would you believe it's a 3-1 for Curse already.
We had this a really great level 1 that snowballed the game.
That absolutely is the surrender. You can see Dyrus, his head down a bit.
Scar's Gragas play, like, I'm gonna be doing some extra favors for him. like chores and, you know, the dishes.
Can they continue onto this one? They're waiting for the shockwave, St. Vicious, one more dive, everybody flashes out, and CLG turned that one around.
Flashing that shockwave was gigantic.
For them to come out and completely do this to Curse after a 5-loss streak. They're really coming out strong. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Week 8 of the North American LCS, live from Los Angeles, California. I'm Rivington Bislin III, along with Joshua Jet Leesman. Last weekend, all 8 teams threw down during an epic Week 7. And not only did we have our first Quinn select, but the KDA King Cop actually died 3 times as CLG snapped a 5-game losing streak with a huge win against Curse.
And last week, CLG went 2-1. They're now comfortably in 4th place, and Hotshot GG actually won our MVP during that. Around the league also, Vulcan went 0-3. They're the ones who are supposed to be challenging them. Then GGU went 2-1 despite everyone counting them out. So we really have a tight race now between seeds 5 and 8.
But the biggest story coming into this week, Week 8, is the roster changes that were made by 3 of the teams fighting to stay in the playoffs. On Tuesday, Complexity benched their mid laner Trooper and picked up Loudamortis' former teammate Prolly.
And later that night, Vulcan made their own roster swap. They benched Muffin Cutie and replaced him with GGU's Bloodwater. That, of course, left GGU scrambling to find replacement. So on Wednesday, they announced Daydreamin' from Dignitas' B squad would join the team.
And as the pressure mounts to avoid relegation and hold on to their pro status, these teams are just the latest to try and turn around the season by changing their rosters.
Right, it's not just North America. Against All Authority replaced Corralius with Dwad this week. And even though Dragonborn's previously benched Maluno for Dexter 1, Maluno's back on the roster there. So you can see the pressure on the bottom teams is mounting more and more. So they're becoming more cutthroat as the teams approach the playoffs, right? Like Vulcan, for instance, did like Muffin Cutie, but they realized one of the reasons they were losing was because of Bloodwater. So they picked up Bloodwater from GGU. That also hurts GGU in their eyes. So they're really just fighting the competition with that move.
In the end, man, if you can't beat them, make them join you.
Pick them up.
Just take them all. But, all right, it's time to take a look at the standings. All 4 of the top teams went 2-1 last week, so Curse stays in first place, followed by Dignitas, Team Solo Mid, and CLG, whose solid Week 7 locked down 4th.
And the race for the last 2 playoff spots got a lot tighter after Vulcan dropped all 3 of their games last weekend. Marn is now 1 game back at 6-12, and GGU and Complexity are rounding out the standings.
And it's definitely going to be a brawl between the bottom 4 as they fight to earn their spot in the spring playoffs. And it all starts with today's matches. First up, Counter Logic Gaming is looking to sweep the season series from Complexity, but will the mid lane swap to Prolly be the spark Complexity needs to finally beat CLG? After that, it's GGU and their new support Daydreamin' taking on Curse. GGU is fired up and on the hunt for that playoff spot, but Curse will come out swinging as they fight to hold on to their first place throne.
And next, Bloodwater will be calling the shots for Vulcan as they battle to take down TSM for the first time all year. Then, the brothers battle it out when Marn takes on their BFFs in the LCS, Complexity.
Yeah, but before today's games kick off, make sure to vote for who you think is going to win.
Jump onto lolesports.com, click matches at the top right, go to Week 8 and vote.
And while you're there, remember to vote for the NA LCS All-Star team. It's up to you to select the best top, jungle, mid, AD, and support to represent your region.
And keep in mind that you're voting for 1 player for each position. And hurry, because voting closes on April 15th.
And once you vote, you can check out who's the top vote getter at each position, and that leads us to today's Twitter question. Which player not currently leading in votes is the most deserving of an all-star spot, and why?
Hit us up on Twitter. We're at LOLesports. Use the hashtag LCS, and we'll read your tweets later in the show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just moments away from our first match of the day and Prolly's debut with Complexity. We'll see if he can help turn their season around when they take on CLG. Don't go anywhere.
At this point, all of the bottom 4 teams are actually a threat to us.
When you think of complexity, all you do is think about Nick Wu.
We always establish a good lead early, but then we don't know how to carry it into the mid and late. Once we work on those, we should be able to really start closing out games and pulling out wins.
Right now we're in a slump, but the thing is we're taking every match as seriously as possible.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our first match of the day, Complexity versus CounterLogic Gaming. CLG has dominated their first 3 games, including a win last week. But this will be a very different Complexity they face, as today Prolly is in mid. And without a lot of time to prepare for Complexity's new jungle mid combo, CLG will have their hands full.
And Prolly should have good chemistry with Mortis. They played together on Legion way back in Season 2. They actually took 3rd place at IPL Faceoff last year. So the question will be, will they have that synergy still together from when they used to play? Or is it the fact that they've been on different teams now for so long, will it take a while for them to get together again?
Well, on top of that, Prolly is not going to have an easy time against mid. Link in mid.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, because Link went 11-2-11 against Complexity last week when they had Chuper in the mid lane, and he was dominating really the whole week. He's back on his long-range champions and looking very confused at the camera as well, and that's what CLG likes to play him on. It's going to be amazing because Link does have one of the most diverse champion pools in the game, despite playing Lux all 3 games last week, and Prolly, just in the MLG Dallas event, and the online qualifiers when he was on Velocity, he's played 6 different champions in 6 games. So CLG can't really scout him that well.
That's a pretty big comfort level. How do you break that? So while Link and the crew had a big week 7, it's been a struggle for CLG this season. We sat down with Hotshot's team to talk about the state of CounterLogic Gaming.
If you told me that we'd be 10-10 at the start of the season, I would have thought you were crazy.
And they take down CLG and get
first win
can't
is
even
against
get into a position to
CounterLogic.
fight back right now. Last 5 for CLG have been losses.
Clearly, I'm not happy with where we're at right now. 10-10 is like unacceptable to me.
After a really big streak of losses and you have thousands of people hammering down on you, it actually plays with your head.
We try to be positive, but it's really hard to be positive and have like a good outlook on things when you've been losing so much. Everyone essentially, when you go online and you're part of CLG, you read all this hate and you read all these like horrible comments about how you're terrible.
No matter how much like tough skin you have, eventually like the community will kind of get to you. Maybe you'll start to doubt yourself and hesitate.
I know Hotshot has a problem with that because he reads Reddit, but I hate Reddit. Screw that. I don't really care what people say about me. I just focus on myself getting better.
It honestly played with my head. I thought I needed to play a threat. I really need to do this, but my team backed me up and they kept reassuring me like, no, play this way. And so it's frustrating when the community is like, hotshot, 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 hotshot.
The team constantly reinforces like you shouldn't think about what other people say. They actually don't know what they're saying, by the way, because we know better as a team. And I think he just needs to stop caring what the community thinks and just focus on being a better player.
And then my team's like, it's not your fault, it's not your fault, it's not your fault. So it goes back and forth and I'm just like,
We always tell him that just don't listen to what the community says because it's not true. Even Chaucer recently, he's actually been doubting himself because he's like, maybe I should have like initiated during that one game. But the thing is, our problems stem from a team. It's not from individual play, and that's like the most important thing that everyone on the team has to realize.
What matters is you keep it consistent and you play what you're strong at. Don't play what you're not good at because then teams will just take advantage of that.
We already know what works as a team, but at the same time, we're focused on like, we're trying too hard to try new things and trying to be like other people who we're not. So we need to like find our identity and then try to find like slower ways of improving.
now we're kind of going back to our roots. We're figuring out what works for us, and we like it so far.
CLG looking for vengeance, and they found it against Curse, bringing themselves another victory here.
Good job, guys. Yeah,
Congratulations to CLG. They evened it up.
Come tournament time, teams are going to have to be really, really prepared to beat us.
The most important thing is not to get too down on ourselves. The rest of the season, I have no expectations, but I really hope we 8-0. It's really disheartening to see like all these posts. I used to be a CLG fan. Oh, I was a fan until I saw this or heard this. It's just, I want us to keep our fans, and I want to make them proud.
CLG's quest for an 8-0 finish begins right now against the revamped Complexity squad. Let's check out today's starting lineups. On the blue team, it's Complexity. Nick Wu in the top with Mortis at jungle, Prolly now in mid, Brunch U at AD, and MIA at support.
And on the red side, it's going to be CLG. Hotshot GG in the top lane, Chouster in the jungle, Link in the mid lane, Doublelift on D, and Aframu on support.
So, Jack, we talked a little bit about the the relationship between Loudermortis and Prolly. How far does this go back?
It goes back almost to Season 1. Back when they were Legion, I think it was like MLG Providence 2011, where they actually got to go to that because CLG got disqualified going into that tournament, right? So that was when they really had their big scene. And Prolly has always been an incredibly talented mid lane player, but he's always been really loyal to the people he plays with and his friends. So in this situation, it's probably really good for him that he's back with Loudermortis, so at least he gets some of that old Legion love back together.
Prolly.
So it's he's probably going to have that together. And I'm really excited to see him back in the LCS.
Awesome. We'll have to see what they have for Champion Select, and it looks like they don't want to deal with the mechanics on that vein, and also have seen that Prolly will take that Rumble mid as well as Nick Wu top.
Yeah, and this is actually really funny because Nick Wu has been talking about how he's diversified his champion pool more and more, and you look at him, it's like, yes, he moved on from Zed. He started playing Rumble.
For sure.
And therefore, CLG's just like, we're going to ban both of them, but they forgot to ban Shen. That's his third. That's his backup. And that is his champion pool. So they exhausted everything. It's a good thing they had first pick for that.
Yep.
They obviously planned for it, and they lock it in.
So a safe game so far with the map presence in Shen. CLG obviously looking, as Hotshot said, to keep that tank, keep that somewhat initiator role going, and not really have to be too aggressive. Looks like they're going to go ahead and pick up the bottom lane right away.
Yeah, so when Vayne was banned out last week, it was Caitlyn or Twitch that Doublelift played. So they banned out Caitlyn themselves, and he's just going to go and play Twitch. Aphromoo also was one of the first early adopters in North America of Thresh. Actually, last night in the debut of the new OGN season, every Thresh started with the red elixir. I wonder if Aphromoo is going to do something similar to that, because we've been seeing more and more red elixirs, even in the LCS. Dignitas usually opens games up with 3, but usually not on supports. Thresh is a pretty good candidate for it.
So knowing that coming into this, Caitlyn's been banned out, so they're actually going to go with safe play, as actually Loudermortis using up Varus for that ultimate. Whether they want to go in and out could be comboed with a Sony here from MIA since they took his Thresh.
Right, so Brunchu will probably be a Varus player. He's a Caitlyn and Varus player, first 2. Doesn't really play Twitch. Varus is the natural combo for that. Also, Varus used to work really well with Zed, because he will provide the CC that you normally get from a mid lane caster. And Prolly, if this is a Zyra, I'd actually expect this Zyra to be mid. Most people think that it's a support Zyra, but MIA doesn't have support Zyra experience. Like you said, he's usually a Sona or a Thresh player. Thresh is already taken. Probably not falling back in Zyra, and Prolly did have a Zyra game in his most recent competition when he was on Velocity in the qualifier.
And this is really playing to the flavor of what Complexity is showing us lately. Dive, AoE comps. Right now they have that on the outside, but expect to see, that Jungle Amumu coming out.
It very well could be, right? Like, it's most likely something for Loudermortis. The thing I'm actually going to be looking for is who gets the Cho'Gath and if it gets the Cho'Gath, because Hotshot's 2 big champions lately have been Malphite and Cho'Gath. In the win against Curse, he was so instrumental. Chouster will play Jarvan every time he gets an opportunity to. Link played Lux now 4 games in a row. So the last pick could fall to CLG if they pick Cho'Gath, or Loudermortis could steal it and then really put Hotshot off his game. He'd have to play a Nasus or something in the top lane if they take Cho away from them.
Well, Cho was their catalyst in the Dignitas game at MLG. He was literally double kill top lane, double kill bottom lane, thwarted out Crumbs, and then was tanking turrets 18, 19 minutes into the game for his team to take them down. So definitely a huge player there. We've seen that Loudermortis is so much more comfortable on the utility junglers.
So I'd expect probably, if I was guessing, I would think it's going to be like a Sona and then a utility jungler for Loudermortis. That Diana pick is either a lost leader or they're actually going with support Zyra and a mid Diana for Prolly, because no one really knows the extent to which Prolly's champion pool reaches, right? If he were to pick Diana, that would be a 7th different champion in 7 games. And I could be way off. They could very well run the Shen jungle and something else in the mid lane. That's actually what they're going for.
Yeah, that is going to be Prolly's. So it looks like the Nick Wu has done a little bit of champion pool extension.
He very well could have, because like the Ziggs has got to be Prolly in mid, no question, right? And then that's most likely the Kha'Zix top, which is actually what Chuper had been playing for them. Whenever they'd pick Kha'Zix, Chuper would play the Kha'Zix.
It was a part of their compositions that they kind of wanted. And
he built that like Ravenous Hydra and stuff. So they very much like having that in. And in the game that Loudermortis played Shen, he actually got a lot of farm. And hello, new pick for Hotshot. Udyr.
Oh, that's exciting.
This is 3.5 patch, by the way, so this is the new Udyr, so to speak. No mana return on Turtle Stance. You can crit in Turtle Stance. Phoenix is different. It applies on the first proc, no longer gives bonus attack damage and ability power. And Bear gives you minion pass through, less duration, more speed.
All the Bear.
Probably didn't catch much of that, but you can go read the patch notes. And that's one of the things. So this for CLG will actually be very interesting. I'd expect Hotshot to go Phoenix stance in the top lane and be as annoying as possible, where the rest of the team just tries to power up and make plays with Chowster. You look at Complexity, and that is a very AoE heavy team with potentially split push pressure. It's going to have to be, most likely, Mortis dealing with Hotshot split push, so he's going to have to power up really heavily, and then Complexity's really going to have to worry about getting the red initiates because they still only have one true tank.
And this game has to be a field day for Chowster right now. He sees pretty much hard crowd control in every lane. Who would he want to focus here coming in? They said Nick Wu, but we have Prolly on the team now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the team and the way they're predicting it, like Doublelift saying, every time we think of Complexity, we think of Nick Wu, which was actually kind of news to me when he said that, because we have been building up Mortis almost this entire year.
Absolutely.
And thinking every team focuses Mortis. But apparently a lot of that has to do with Nick Wu. And even if you think back to last week when Nick Wu was on Zed, those fights were about Nick Wu and getting the Doublelift. So maybe that's why Doublelift was thinking about him, because he's like, that Zed's going to kill me over and over again.
Nightmares.
But I can see that being a focus for CLG, not only because Nick Wu's on an assassin like Kha'Zix, but also because Hotshot really wants to get going on Udyr.
Absolutely. We'll have to see as we are almost in and on to the Rift. Thanks for joining us here for Week 8, Game 1. Rivington III and Joshua Jatley's been bringing you this matchup, and we are on to the Rift. Complexity versus CLG to start off this week. Prolly now about to show what he can muster up for the Complexity squad.
Yeah, and we don't see the red elixir opening on Aphromoo, but we do see the red elixir opening on MIA. So Zyra does have one of the best, if not the best, auto attack for support. It's 575 range, which is going to outrange Thresh. I believe Thresh is at 475. It actually outranges Twitch as well, because Twitch is a 550. So both Varus and Zyra's attack ranges sync up at more than Doublelift. So if they 2v2 that lane with the double red elixirs, it's big, as they're looking to invade, and I think CLG spots them out.
They're very heavy set on the top side. Usually not seeing teams do this too much anymore, and they are going to be
this could be a
pinched
fight
in here. Aphromoo is trying to draw them in. He still knows they are going to be able to go in. It looks like they lock up. The bindings are back and forth, though. They're not focusing the crowd control. Prolly's able to get out. It looks like they're able to drop Link first and somewhat turn this one around here. Complexity still doing the most damage. Almost going down. Hotshot gets out with a sliver. They are still able to take one. Nick Wu falls. MIA coming up with a kill for himself. There's that auto attack range coming into play for the support, and it's going to be a double kill for Prolly. 2 assists on his first game as well.
Oh my god, that was 5 kills in the first minute and 20 seconds. Like, that was a very huge thing for Complexity as everyone misses his death sentence at the end there. But CLG didn't have to do that.
No.
Like, they had 4 in a brush, and someone isolated off on the other side, whereas Complexity was very much grouped up, and you're fighting a Ziggs, dude. His bombs are spammed on you. Zyra's AoE is much more substantial. Like, yes, you have some good stuff with the light binding, but like the sustained, persistent damage and the AoE potential, if you're just gonna have like a level 1 brawl fest, Complexity is way ahead on that compared to CLG, so that choice is highly questionable from CLG early.
That was awesome play by Complexity coming in. Everybody actually choosing the area of effect, slowing the addition of that ability to stack on and get the most out of their kills in that first skill selection.
Absolutely.
So 4-1 as they start. Looks like either Brunch bought another one. I don't think he actually used his first one. Hotshot GG just got exploded and ignited down.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Like, Nick Wu started with the red elixir. Because he'd gotten the first blood fight, he got a Doran's Blade to come back. He beat Hotshot to level 2. Hotshot had no flash to begin the game. He also didn't start with the red elixir. Like, that was just waiting to happen, and Hotshot didn't see it coming. Nick Wu beasted him down early, and that's not a... This is a just disaster for CLG early.
This is not something we have seen from Complexity, and CLG is really on their heels right now, as you say. They're trying to focus this. Link now against Prolly in mid, who's so confident. Obviously going to hit level 3 before that too, and continues to batter down on him with water balloons. Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah, and this just skews the matchup so much in the mid lane between Prolly and Link, because it's a Chalice of Harmony start for Prolly. And levels, right? Because they destroyed that level 1 so hard, they got the extra items, they have the extra gold, and he is just going to harass Link terribly. Chowster burned his flash, right? Like, Prolly is fairly safe in these situations, and it's really hard for CLG to deal with this.
So why is it only champions or people like Prolly, like Shifter, that are bringing people or champions like Ziggs out?
It could just be the fact that Prolly does whatever he wants, right? Like, Link did it for a while, but now CLG's gotten him back on the long-range champions. And at the same time, we saw it almost with Wild Turtle a little bit too. Your first week in the LCS, you're kind of just playing with house money, because if you do bad, it's like, well, he hasn't had time for the team.
Ooh.
I'm fight dead.
Oh, MIA absolutely expunged there. They could still go in, just a sliver of health on double lift. He's going to be able to back out. It looks like they're going to hot shot once again. Top, that flash is down. The burst is coming out. One more attack in. The Vorpal goes down, and Nikwu picks up his 3rd kill of the game at 4 minutes in.
This game is ridiculously paced for CLG. CLG likes slow games where fights don't necessarily happen, so they are very uncomfortable right now. Yes, Doublelift did pick up that kill in the bottom lane, and he was kind of able to do that because he was the 1 kill that CLG picked up before, so he wasn't disadvantaged nearly as much as the rest of CLG. But like, Hotshot just teleported back into top lane. I wonder if they're just going to try to kill him again.
I wouldn't doubt it. Actually, Nikwu is quite low on mana. There is double buff on Loud Mortis, so they don't want to lose that. No vision on Chouster is going to allow them to play safe here, but still put on that pressure to Hotshot.
And this is not something I actually expected to see with the new Udyr in top lane, right? Like, I expected him to be much more jungle heavy. Just the turtle sustain isn't quite there. Hotshot's wanting to turn into that late game Phoenix threat that just spams out the lane, but he's really going to have to take his time because he's already put 2 points in turtle, and he's not shoving very fast now, plus his items are way behind, just based on everything that's happened to him in the level 1 and in the lane.
Chouster just waiting patiently down bottom. Finally sees MIA. Brunchu return to lane here as they are getting themselves farm back up. As we take stock of that, looks like each lane is quite even in farm, but Complexity's looking to win on these kills right now. The farm is really nothing for them at this point, and they are going to continuously do this. Chouster still waiting in the bottom. Really one of those to wait on the kills instead of that farm.
And you're looking at the lane, it's not necessarily pushing in either direction. That was a very good ward kill there by Complexity to kill a ward in the last second of their pink. But what Alphamoon actually wants to do is he'd want to get hit by a Zyra root, but MIA is being very, very cautious. The wave is pushing for Complexity, so they're walking closer and closer to the danger zone. Their flashes are also down for a brief second on Brunchu, but Chouster goes in.
So good. The E from Brunch just pretty much cancels everything. A grasping root grabbing him up, and it just cancels that out.
Yeah, so he unfortunately went for MIA, whose flash was up. Brunchu's flash will be off cooldown just in a second. And that is a lot of time invested for Chouster, where Loud Mortis was just happily farming. Those ganks are going to become more and more difficult once Loud Mortis hits level 6, because then even if they get the surprise, Loud Mortis will be able to globally come in from the jungle. That's usually the struggle with Jungle Shen, is getting to that point. But with the 5 assists he picked up, they're going. And here's another gank.
Straight in. They go actually back towards the backside of MIA. Aframu could go down here as Brunchu knows this is going to be an all-out battle. He's going to try to get the damage down before he himself goes down. Doublelift getting all the attacks in. Chouster probably going to let this one go to Doublelift. Here go, probably. Oh, he gets the ultimate down. Mortis just on the outside. Can he get the taunt in? If it's going to be long enough, the flag toss. No, the flash has to come out. So that's going to be good for them on the jungle pressure.
Mega Inferno Bomb just gets Doublelift down, but we've seen this story before for CLG. 4 kills on the team, 4 kills onto Doublelift. This is very quickly turning into another one of those back-breaking moments for Doublelift, where he's the only one on the team with farm, and now they're diving hot shot.
There's the ultimate coming up, going in a lot of Mortis. Nikwu taking too much damage. He stays there for another shot. It could be enough if Hotshot can get that stun in, but there's just too many minions. Loud Mortis and Nikwu definitely in a scary spot here. They've taken a little too much damage. We've seen this before. Hotshot trying to go in. There's the laser. Oh, he flashes the final spark. Hotshot. Oh, the blade comes in with minion damage. These guys are just scrapping it back and forth. Punches to the face in the 1-2 and probably looks to finish Link, but he just backs out of this fight.
The pace of this game is absolutely out of control. That's 2 kills per minute on the map so far. 14 kills in 7 minutes. The goal beat is very much in favor of Complexity, and they're aggressing like crazy. That could have been a disaster for Complexity, but they came away fairly even. That was still bad for them in the grand scheme of things, but they're keeping Hotshot down, which is the important thing. I mean, we mentioned in the pregame needing to have Loud Mortis strong enough to deal with Hotshot, and thus far, they're doing that.
It looks like we have the Giant's Belt now coming out for Loud Mortis. One of his favorite items to continue just diving deeper under those turrets. Chouster, you can see his HP, he looks so squishy still, under 1,000 health for himself, and Loud Mortis is coming into the fight with 1,400.
It's just items across the board, Riv. There's an 8-minute completion of Athene's Unholy Grail on probably Ziggs in the mid lane. How is Link going to fight against that? He's got a Cage's lucky pick, and
he knows it's a long game. He's already going for the gold generation.
He's got to just stall out. He's getting out farmed. He can't roam nearly at the level of Prawley. The Mega Inferno Bomb is super potent as well. Like, the Ziggs pick is definitely working out in this scenario because he's not worried about getting spiked out. Ladamortis is now soloing the Dragon. Probably's walking through war, but I don't know if CLG feels confident enough to go for this. They might try to snipe it with a Link Laser, but it looks like they're just handing off blue. Ladamortis might get this for free.
This is something that they used to have Soraka to do in Amumu, but now they're just able to do it with Shen. They controlled this early game so well. 9 minutes in, 9-5, an almost 4,000 gold lead here for Complexity and this revamped roster.
I will say that Complexity this season does have very good early games, right? They usually get the first Dragon. I don't have statistics to back this up quite yet, but we see them get really early Dragon plays early. True. Ladamortis puts an amazing amount of emphasis on getting that, and he's usually successful. These are the moments, even though they usually don't have leads this big, that they start to crumble. So with the new roster, with Prawley, with the confidence, sometimes just changing a roster member, even if Prawley is an outperforming Trooper, it makes everyone else play on a different level. They forget about the bad things that they've been doing. They reset their mindset, and they're able to finish games and make more aggressive plays because they no longer have the burden of all the defeats because they see themselves as a new team, even if they're still four of the same players.
You see CLG trying to adapt in some of the builds. We've seen it before, and it comes out sometimes when you're ahead, but it's bad when it comes out late and you have to buy that Doran shield. One now coming out from Aframu. Hotshot trying to pick one up, sinking a little bit of money into just staying alive in lane right now.
He's sinking a lot of money into just staying alive in lane. Like, Hotshot component items is getting taken to a new level this game because he is not able to deal with Nick Wu. Like, Nick Wu is going to be an issue in this game because he is in no way getting shut down by Hotshot. And even in the bottom lane, the farm for Brunch U is doing quite well. It's really about keeping Double Lift down. Like, that's the only other threat right now that Complexity has to think about at this point in the game.
You see Chauster babysitting still and really trying to soak up the experience. His jungle's almost clear. He wants to be able to go top or bottom if something big happens. He knows that Complexity has that map control right now, and he has to be able to go everywhere. You see him finally starting to teeter towards the top side. His Link has his ultimate to clear, and that's really what they need to leave each other alone, is the ability to just siege that out. You can't even do it now. A lot more is putting the pressure on.
And it's just a matter of Link's blue buff doesn't really have anything on Prawley's bomb spam. The Athene's Unholy Grail is like a blue buff in itself. So they're not shutting down Prawley in the mid lane. No one has really been able to come back from that level 1 disaster so far on CLG. Double Lift a little bit, but everyone else on the map is falling farther and farther behind. And it will be kind of about CLG finding a Complexity mistake like they were able to do even last week, because we can't forget that last week Complexity did have a fairly substantial lead on CLG for most of the game.
We see that tier getting stacked up as Nick Wu is actually grabbing up the blue so he can continuously get that to its full form. Probably is not going to get any damage on the turret, but you can see Nick Wu just really giving Hotshot a hard time in the top lane, and just that damage coming out. Turtle not really helping Hotshot at all, and he's forced out of the lane. Mana's low, so we'll probably be teleporting back in here as Chaucer again forced to wait on the wing for a gank.
And in this gank situation, there will be a lot of Mortis coming in if they decide to do a Lantern Jarvan gank like they did last time. I can see them trying to pull it off, but you can tell Complexity recognizes something. This is actually Prawley bomb range if CLG decides to go in, and Chaucer's already went back to base, so now it turns into a situation of Complexity thinking about diving CLG in their turret.
And look how confident they are. They're looking for somebody in the jungle before they do it. They say, we have enough time to roam. Mid Link is visible, top is visible, Nick Wu has Hotshot on his heels. They can really control the entire map, and especially having Shen, and he's just able to walk around right now. He doesn't have to use the Stand United.
They're daring Chauster to make a play right now. They're just like, we're walking in your jungle, come at us, because we're willing to fight in almost any scenario. Even if they were slightly outmanned, they feel confident in their ability to take these fights. Chauster just now checked Dragon. That thing dropped several minutes ago, so you can see the map control is way out of proportion right now in the favor of Complexity.
You do see keeping a hover on that bottom side, probably playing towards the bottom side of mid as Brunch U just bursting out, Double Lift down to half health there with the combo. And it looks like Prawley could drop this turret quite soon, get some pressure on mid, and that next Dragon may not be able to be contested here. They have 2 minutes. We'll have to see if CLG can set themselves up for this.
And it's going to be real tough because the team fight damage from Complexity at this point is really huge. The big thing will happen, actually, Nick Wu is getting closer and closer to level 11. Once he gets that evolved wings as well, he will be able to stomp around these team fights, which were already going to be a little bit stompy. So this is really bad. The only advantage CLG might have is that Hotshot has a teleport if Nick Wu catches himself top.
and this kind of plays into CLG's old, or now current game style as well, is that super late Lantern Gang coming in. They do get the death sentence on him, and they dove for the backside. He actually popped up both, the Cataclysm on both. This is really Chowster helping right now. Ken Mortis comes in, almost a double save on the team as Afro flashes for the auto.
And Hotshot teleported in at the last second, so Nick Wu is stuck top, and this is kind of a 5v3 that CLG is sort of collapsing on, but they did get only one kill. It was an unfortunate scenario where Mortis was actually there to fight, but then had to stop an ult, so he wasn't actually having any combat effectiveness, and CLG pulled off a big play there, but I don't really know how much of an edge this is giving them since they've lost the pressure top.
That pressure loss top, the inventory showing all defensive items. Is Hotshot GG actually going to build completely? He does. He builds the Warden along with Jarvan and still leave it up to Doublelift and Link to do that damage, even though he's on Udyr. He's going to be in the fight.
I think he's going full defense on Udyr, right? Like that was his plan all along. Phoenix has enough base damage to clear waves and have a bit of an impact in team fights that he is happy just stalling and being annoying, as now Complexity pushes through, Doublelift going aggro.
That was a great dodge there. Mortis only has to deal with the slow now. If Doublelift can't get there, a good grasping route. He will not be able to get the flask off, sponge damage for a bit, and it looks like Chowster will start to make some moves. He's only going towards the mid to start to clear that up and really get himself back into this game. He's still a level under Mortis.
And now with CLG's teleport down as well, Hotshot returns to the top lane. Dragon just spawned, so the play that CLG tried to create didn't give him a tower and didn't give him Dragon control. We'll really have to see how that pans out. Both teams have wards on the Dragon, and CLG is collapsing down there very fast. If they can rush this Dragon down right now, it'll be a great play because they're going to catch Complexity with their pants down going back to base.
It's going to be gold. That's very necessary. The bomb comes in just a little late, and Nick Wu on the side as well. They will be able to close the gap back down to 4,000 at 15 minutes. It means we're going to see that next Dragon around 21 minutes, and we'll see how both teams act, as they did have vision on the timer.
And that play was actually almost the worst of both worlds for Complexity, because not only did they not get the Dragon, they also lost a substantial amount of pressure top, even though Hotshot didn't have his teleport down. When Nick Wu tried to contribute to the Dragon steal, he left this window for Hotshot. Hotshot is probably going to try to finish this turret, or he's going to die, because Mortis is on the hunt.
They do have the ward there. Hotshot is out of mana. He may have one Bear Stance left in that form. Oh, he has to flash it out. So there's some danger there for him.
Still a pretty good flash, and that's one of Hotshot's charms on as any top laner. He's 1-4. He's been getting destroyed all game, but he still just forced two people to come all the way on the other side of the map and respawn to him, and he didn't die. So that type of map pressure might keep CLG in this game if they can continue to apply it.
Well, they have a pretty good force up here. This is for sure going to take this turret down. Mortis ultimate coming back up in about 30 seconds, so they can get themselves around the map if necessary. Nick Wu can still stay top, be the burden that he has so far. Now looking over to Link, going against that Athene's. Now a finished Haunting Guise, probably turning into a Leandry's there for the bombs AoE. You only have the Blasting Wand right now. Link in his belt, or in his pocket, 700 gold.
Yeah, so
that's
Link
rough.
Not in a good place right now gold-wise. That's 1,600 back. I mean, the team in general being 6,200 away is not working, but like we said earlier, the one advantage that CLG has in this game, Doublelift has an Infinity Edge on Brunchu, so even though his gold actually isn't there, he's just been back to buy, and CLG wants to have him fight, or just get some turrets back on the board, because being down 4 turrets to 0 is 3,000 of this 6,000 gold disadvantage. So the top lane for CLG, they've almost pushed that one down. Doublelift and Aframu have a window in the bottom lane as well, but if Hotshot can't fight Nick Wu, he can't make that happen.
Hotshot not taking as much damage as he was before, and Nick Wu has gotten that burst from the BF sword there. They're going to miss the taunt. Hotshot gets the burst off, or the bear off rather. They're going to get a little bit of damage down here. It's definitely going to be a coast-to-coast run for Hotshot. There's the final bounce. Can he get the last slow down? Mortis just with enough energy. He is completely out of range. Does he have the jump? Oh, probably coming in for the side. Can probably bounce himself. The last bomb hits. Get the kill. Oh, he uses the ultimate. They finalize it. Kill secured.
But look at what they used to kill a 1-4 bear who doesn't really have items. Let's see if CLG can turn something around. Doublelift, Afro, and Chowster are all trying to push bot lane as Link went down to pressure. And think, what did Complexity really get for that? I think they tunnel visioned on Hotshot there.
This is exactly what CLG wanted. Complexity to start focusing one or the other, let CLG start to take down the turrets and get back into this game. They don't want to fight right now, and Complexity's giving them that.
let's see if Complexity can get their map pressure going, because they've done enough killing Hotshot. They've controlled the map this far. They've already killed 4 turrets, so they've essentially got the map pressure going. It's just a matter of, can they hold it, I guess, when I think about it a little bit better. They do have the goal lead, but I think they should stop worrying about Hotshot so much. Like, send a guy out there to neutralize him and then deal with the rest of CLG. That's the thing that they can't get themselves caught up on, because Complexity has been outplayed by CLG in the mid-game many times this year. They've played 3 times already, and it's not like Complexity hasn't played them close.
Looks like Link coming in here for a bit of damage. Loudamortis misses the taunt. That's quite a bit of energy to boot. And, oh, he's going to get out quite easy. Nothing coming in from Loudy.
Yeah, there was a bit of a misfire there on one of Brawly's bouncing bombs. He undershot a little bit, but now they're trying to siege mid lane. Here's the window, right? Hotshot is back top lane. They recognize that their lane is already pushed. They have a 5v4 in mid lane. How much damage can they get on the turret versus how fast can Complexity clear?
Hotshot still in that top lane, 130. He's still about 30 CS behind Nick Wu, stacking up that Bloodthirster now as they start congregating on this mid turret. Varus on the outside. Brunchu actually tanking the turret. I was trying to see there. He took quite a bit of damage, but they are able to get it. I thought CLG was going to come with the initiation there, as Hotshot was actually bearing down from that top lane. He still has the teleport, so after they aggress this, after they push, whether it is going to be a 1.5 minutes for Dragon, and the teleport top lane for that split push, Complexity has to be careful.
Yeah, so I think that was a win for Complexity, right? They picked up the turret.
For sure.
They didn't get engaged on. They very aggressively were actually hitting that turret because they were taking the damage. And now they have to back up because they need to shut their lane. They're making sure, actually, this is smart. Brunchu was the one going down for that wave, even though multiple people went for it. They don't need Loudamortis to get it because he's actually kind of strong enough to fight Hotshot. They need to make sure that Brunchu is strong enough to fight double lift, so they're giving him that big wave.
You know what I really like about Complexity's composition when it comes down to it, and the elongated fights, which are really going to happen because you're running from a new deer, you're kiting the Chowster, you're getting away from a Link. Those Bloodthirsters are going to keep you sustained, but Loudamortis is not carrying at this time, and he's going to be forced to run out of that. Nick Wu is there to help. Loudamortis feeling confident, but that ward on blue here could engage something Complexity doesn't want right now.
Yeah, and this is looking a little aggressive from both sides. Like, they kind of wanted to make plays. Mainly they wanted to get that blue, and that was great. The Lux ult denied the blue to Ziggs, as Complexity actually misses even more ultimates. So I wonder if CLG wants to turn something around, or is that Varasol just a little bit of a bait? And now CLG's content with having the blue on Loudamortis because he had to smite it away from Link.
They still have that crowd control from Zyra, but not in range. Walking through so many wards right now. They have to be careful. They don't have the vision. We hear the call out from the teams. They've death sentenced Prowly, but he gets himself out. Man. Misses the bomb completely and throws himself back into the fight. Do they have the damage for Aphromoo? Prowly finally going down there, and it looks like Brunchu's going to be able to come up with double lift. Can they get Link? The Ignite ticks off for the final hit, and it's going to be Chowster just flashing out of the spikes. He will make it out alive.
Double lift, where were you? Yes, they got the catch on a Prowly, and they really wanted to capitalize on that 4-0 Ziggs, but double lift flashed ahead of the fight through his team. Complexity was in the right side of the jungle, and once they arrived, there was no protection for double lift, so the primary damage source wasn't available. Hotshot was shopping, and they got wrecked in that team fight. Now Hotshot wants to do something, but this is almost just being wishful thinking.
Man, Bear, Peg, Phoenix, Turtle, Tiger, can he get in here? He is going to try to thwart them. Loudamortis is the one closest to Baron. They're positioning perfectly here. He's the one to take the damage.
And he's actually just stalling for Chowster because this is now a realistic steal opportunity, and Hotshot didn't even die. That was actually quite good.
Oh, Chowster just on the outside. It's way far from that smite, but they have the ward in. I don't know if they was placed. A very smart move to back off here.
Yeah, I mean, Complexity recognized what happened.
Oh, dear.
So it looked a little off. Chowster went in. He didn't. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Chowster gets caught out. Baron is going to get the assist with this one for Brunch and Loudamortis.
That was a bad call by Chowster. Oh, my God.
They got it. Baron finally. Oh, my gosh. If not the first or second time. Try again. Link didn't get the blue, but they got the Baron.
They did the bait and switch. Like, Chowster is
using everything.
So, Chowster was down, which gave Complexity the false confidence, and potentially, like me, they forgot about the real Baron steal threat. Like, sure, Smite is usually the big Baron steal threat because Chowster would do 790 damage, but Link's combination of all 3 of his spells, it's 400 from Lucent Singularity, 600 from his Final Spark, and even more from his Light Binding. So it's already like a 1400 damage spike that Link can do that. That is more than a smite. And Complexity felt confident that CLG wasn't going to get it because I think they just forgot about it. Normally we prep those things up pretty well, but that was like, holy crap, they just stole the Baron, and that's great for them.
Hotshot's Frozen Heart, everything he built finally coming into play as usual. 23 minutes into the game, CLG is taking a look at the wristwatches and saying it's about that time and we can start to pressure more of the map. Clearing out the mid, we can see what the Ward game is playing for them. Like Crum says, Ward is vision, and they have their entire side of the map lit up right now.
Vision is power for them, absolutely. So, you know, it seemed like CLG was dead there for a second, but the Baron Steel always gives them a little bit of second life. There was a Baron Steel last week too. I think Crumbs picked one up against TSM, and that kind of swung the game. This one is a little bit more excessive because CLG was down a whole bunch, and they're still down a whole bunch, 5,000, but the split push pressure is continuous from Hotshot. He's very fast with that bear stance as well. And Complexity is a little bit out of sorts, right? This has been their problem all year. Yes, they picked up Prawley, but I wonder if it's going to fix that issue. They got outplayed at that Baron. Link threw in the ultimate and stole it, and now I wonder if Complexity can make a play to punish CLG's Baron buff off of them, or if they're just going to wait it out and let CLG farm up a little bit.
So we take another look at these builds, and the early game definitely shows that it was in favor of Complexity in this inventory. We see a Morellonomicon coming out for MIA, but as that starts to kind of stall out, as it was good when he bought it for, you know, right where he is right now at support, should that become a Shirellia? Should that become a more supportive item?
And Complexity did the same thing last week, too, when they were playing CLG. MIA played Elise, and he stacked Magic Penetration, if you remember. And this was the 11-2-11 game for Link on Lux. No one's building the Aegis. Loudamortis isn't getting it, and he's split pushing. So the fact that MIA went for the Morellonomicon is saying, like, we're not considering Link a threat, despite what happened in our immediate past. So that could be a bit of a red flag. I know I always harp on the Aegis of Legion. I just think it's a really good item, and it will put added vulnerability to MIA in the team fights. It's the balance between, is MIA's threat worth the added threat that Link isn't being negated? There's a way to say that.
Oh my lord, Brunch, you absolutely getting wiped there, down to about 20% health. Nick Wu getting hit. That was just the light binding into Lucent Singularity. 1-2, he's down to 75%. And you can see the poke here. Hotshot's gonna say, my turret, thank you very much. Bears up to it. They're gonna be able to get some more pressure on the map there. Finally closing that turret gap, only in a deficit of 2 now, and that is gonna be a few of those second tier turrets. Both teams really in each other's face at this point. CLG looking to get those wards now on Complexity's side of the map as we see all of their side.
Yeah, this game got real interesting real quickly there. So CLG's gotten 3 of the 5 turrets back, right, that Complexity's taken. The map is extremely open right now. We were saying earlier the aura advantage is definitely on CLG right now. They haven't completed an Aegis. That's probably what Chelsea's going for next. But they do have the Lock of the Iron Solari. That's something Loudamortis has not completed. And I think Hotshot's like the only person in the world who builds Frozen Heart. But it's working for them quite well because he's becoming slightly less vulnerable to Complexity's physical damage. The only real magic damage dealer is Prawley, with a little bit coming in from MIA. And the reason Udyr would go for a Frozen Heart over Randwin's, since they're both heavily physically countered items, is just the cooldown reduction. More turtle stances, more bears, and more Phoenix. CDR is super underrated on Udyr as a champion. Hotshot's maxed CDR right now, so he is a really fast Phoenix Bear man pick because he's doing those stances real quick.
Bear man pick.
Right? Because of all his cooldown reduction. So when they force team fights, it's not actually as bad as it should have been for CLG, considering how badly they lost the early game and how badly they lost the level 1. It's still Complexity's game to lose, but they're in the process of losing it.
So, bouncing off some more inventories here as Hotshot and Loudamortis look to shake hands and kind of do-si-do for a little bit. I don't think either are going to get too much rather than attention from their teammates. You can see Hotshot kind of just clicking out, orbing it, and he decides to walk away as he maybe hears that Ziggs bomb ticking in his ear. But knowing Brunch coming into this game, playing against, actually, they may still go into this. He's going to stay. This is what Hotshot GG is known for. Usually the Baron's up right now, and he's a 6-stack Cho'Gath, and the whole team is fighting him. He has teleport. He can get to wherever he wants, and this is the game that he loves to play.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of the game, what's happening right now, right? Like, Complexity can't make a move if they're chasing down a 1-in-6 Udyr in the bottom lane. This is the farm time that CLG needs, so Aphromoo can power up and kill the whole team. Or so Doublelift can power up and kill the whole team.
And that's actually what I was going to point to just a second ago. With Brunch going up against Doublelift, you see Doublelift pick Twitch, you know he's going to build an Infinity Edge. It's almost gimping yourself to go Bloodthirster into Last Whisper, no? Well, knowing that damage is going to be there right off the bat with PD?
Especially with Varus, since he has very aggressive AD ratios on like his piercing arrow and stuff. A lot of Varuses do go for the Bloodthirster.
Okay.
It's okay. They'll go for the Infinity Edge later. I think like Wild Turtle and a couple other Varuses do the Infinity Edge first.
All right.
But of the champions, Varus is more in the realm of a Bloodthirster AD carry, right? So it does hurt them at this point in the game, 28 minutes in, but the whole process up until this, where Brunchu was actually doing quite well, the Bloodthirst was paying off. So you can't really fault him for that decision.
Fair enough. We'll see what he can do in his positioning in that late game. It looks like the last Whisper now coming out for Doublelift, as he's going to be able to sit on that backside. Link finally getting to that damage phase where he can soften up those kills for Doublelift on the outside. So CLG is getting to their fight phase.
And they're going to have to fight pretty soon because Complexity successfully, successfully I say in a bit of quotations because they had such a big lead, but they waited out CLG's Baron, right? CLG only got farm out of the Baron. They didn't pick up any objectives. So now it's the point where the gold lead that Complexity had accumulated needs to be put to use. They're pinging around the jungle, they're warding up before the dragon because they know that is up, and they're going to try to extend this. It doesn't look like CLG is at all interested in fighting. They're more worried about the Baron control and potential stealing and stuff.
Hotshot back to farming in the bottom lane. 30 minutes just about in this one at 15-7. Like you were saying, you know, that 6,000 gold lead is still held by Complexity, even after a Baron steal, even after CLG has found themselves some turrets and global gold here. Getting that Rabadon's now Void Staff actually right after for Link in the Locket of the Iron Solari come out. Like we were saying, the aura is really in favor of CLG. As they push into this last one, Hotshot's going to be a burden in that bottom lane, and they're ready and poised for Baron.
Yeah, and look who they're sending for him. That's the AD carry, Brunchu, who's going down for Hotshot GG. I think he's pretty much just getting the red buff, actually. He was just doing his thing. And CLG's more worried about the Baron, but as long as Hotshot is this immovable force in the bottom lane, great, because he's not a threat, right? But he is a distraction.
Absolutely, just split pushing down. Let's see if he is just toying around with Loud Mortis right now. Still not any damage between those two. Doublelift coming back out. He did finish the last Whisper. We will see if Link can hit the combination here. MIA sticking with Nikwu to see if they can explode someone as well. They're really staying in, you know, that combined assassination combination. And Hotshot is doing some dancing.
He's like, pay attention to me. For the love of God, I'm in your base taking hits from your turret. Please collapse. He's really trying to bait the Baron out. But at the same time, this is creating a lot of pressure. Like, he's just trying to be as obnoxious as possible. Like in an ARAM, if you have Udyr, trying to be like, please let him to stop pushing my lane, come back for me. It didn't work, and now Complexity actually trying to make a play.
Oh my gosh, everybody going aggressive. We have flashes left and right for a few auto attacks thrown. Nobody wants to go down right now and make that mistake.
This is actually kind of humorous. What's happening with Hotshot? Oh my God, that damage from
Link.
Hit by
like, Baron.
Link has done such a great job coming back in that lane. He had to lane with a Fairy Charm against a Chalice of Harmony. And in the end, even though he didn't pick up the kills and his team lost pressure, he's gotten 50 more minion kills, and now he's sitting at a very similar item threshold to Prawley and actually has 500 more gold.
Absolutely ridiculous. It just shows the perseverance that these guys have, knowing that it's going to be a rough road ahead and knowing that they just need to take it patient and they'll be in the lead when they get the chance. 31 minutes in here, clearing out some wards, playing it very safe. Like we said before, power in numbers for these guys as they roam in the buddy system. CLG doing the same as well. Cheer, Chaucer, and Doublelift clearing up the resources and putting down a little more.
So I don't even know what's going to happen here, right? Like that's a triple pink ward around the Baron area for Complexity. So they have a Warclose plus pink wards, which sometimes is good, especially against like a Twitch. So Doublelift is not going to be able to position around. He's not going to be able to escape with stealth in any scenario because he's going to be walking through pink wards.
So where does the fight engage come from when we start to go in? Can Loud Mortis kind of go on to Chauster? Can he go on to Hotshot if they have the AoE from, you know, Brunch and Prawley to lock him up and still just explode him? Or does he want to get to the backline? Have to.
I mean, Loud Mortis does want to get on Doublelift. Everyone wants to get on Doublelift in team fights, but they have to find a way of dealing with Hotshot. And look at this. He's trying to farm 2 waves at once so that they can push multiple waves. And at the same time, Complexity is hamstrung by this, and Loud Mortis can't push up. CLG might try to fight here, but this is super dangerous because Shen can teleport in.
Manshot, GG, making home, pitching a tent in base here. I think he's got the hot dogs going by the tree there. 15-7. CLG getting pushed back here. His team may need him. Doesn't look like there's not too much chatter going on the screen. You can see Chaucer patiently talking. These guys feel really no pressure right now. They know Hotshot is just giving them so much presence.
I haven't seen this before. I've not seen him farm 2 waves. Like, the interesting thing is Loud Mortis is trying to split push, and here comes the play from Complexity. Mortis actually ulted out of vision, so CLG doesn't entirely know that this is there. The steal is potential, and Hotshot would have to TP in.
Oh my god, the flag is down, so they're going to lose vision from that in a second. It's going to be quite low here. Where's the ultimate from Link to come out? Baron is actually healing quite fast, so they're trying to deter that. Fake out the damage. 3 wards going in. What are they going to focus? Wards or Baron? There's going to be a lot of damage done here. Who's in the middle? They are just holding it up. Chouster takes so much damage. Locket saves him. Can they get the Baron? They do not. Mortis smites it off. Chouster makes it out with a sliver as he limps away. Hotshot still chilling in base.
He's just trying to get it. CLG on the retreat, and Complexity did that one right. They put so much harassment outside that Link couldn't even get close enough to land a combo. It was literally just his ultimate. And oh my dear, now there's the Baron thing, and Hotshot can no longer dirty farm the base. Here's the engage.
Coming in. Oh, beautiful Varus ultimate to spread to the team. Aphromoot's next. Can he get the Nick Wu reset? No, it goes to Mortis. Hotshot taking quite a bit of damage as the tank, but Nick Wu dives face first. That fight mentality coming into play, and he picks up another one onto Brunch. It looks like they back off at 3-1.
Doublelift died to like a last tick of Ignite. That was a huge play, but Complexity's still very low. They are not getting an inhibitor immediately off this. I wonder if CLG can hold with just Chouster and Hotshot.
Will Chouster flag toss in here. He's taking quite a bit of poke along with Hotshot. They gotta be saying be careful here. The turret's gonna go down. They decide to go in probably just on the outside. Both of them as they sit in the area of effect damage. Bounced back by the satchel bomb, and they pick up another kill to clear out the inhibitor here, Jat. It's looking grim for CLG.
Complexity finally getting through this one. They got a couple seconds left on Aphromoo and Link. They're trying to face tank these turrets. They look like they want to get pretty much the game over here. They're going for the next Nexus turret.
They're playing this super smart. They've seen Aphromoo doesn't have the money for home guards. He can knock it out, dodging out the final spark. No home guards as well on Link. They're trying to get the damage to Lucent. Singularity takes it out. It's going to be a half-health Nexus. It's MIA and Brunch. He pops him up with the ultimate. Can he still get the damage? Can it be MIA? MIA! They save the Nexus and there's no minions!
60 health on the Nexus. They killed everyone. They've only lost 1 inhibitor. All the minions are gone. They actually held that one off. The game should be over.
Oh my gosh.
CLG should have lost this many times already, but they're still alive, Riv.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how. 35 minutes, 21-12, 60,000 to 52, and 8-3 turrets. Nick Wu, he's tired from that fight. He can't even make it over the wall.
He can't even make it over the wall. And the funny thing about all this is Complexity also lost the Baron buffs with that push. So normally with that last Baron, they're just like, dude, we got Baron, let's just go fight him. And they're super confident. They could probably still do that, right, to be fair. We're probably overblowing this, but there is the chance that CLG might come back in this. And if they did, I don't know if I've seen a Nexus lower.
That was absolutely crazy. Chouster gives that over to Link as they use Final Spark to pick it up. Everybody nearing almost 6 items right now. MIA was able to get a few items for himself off of that with the Kindle Gem, finally finishing out his boots here at 36 minutes into the game. It has been a rough one, but CLG has definitely pulled from behind, and we see Doublelift taking into consideration the amount of crowd control that just came into that fight with a quick Banshee's Veil.
And thank the heavens, Mortis has the runic bulwark right now, because they got it. Link cannot one-shot them when they're going out to siege. This is looking real good for Complexity, so even though they didn't finish the game that last time, they will persevere. They want to. They're going through for this next inhibitor. They have no Baron buff, so if they get caught out in the wrong situation, it could be bad, but their nuking potential and their lead is still quite substantial here.
Got the Banshee's Veil down on Doublelift, taking a bit of damage there. Chouster wants to go in. They've got this instantly. He gets 3 inside the Cataclysm. A beautiful Final Spark. Brunchu falls. The 80 damage is gone. Nick Wu's trying to keep himself in the fight with the ultimate there. MIA on the outside as well, and Complexity is shredded out of this one. They have to run here. Could be probably holding them off. He has the health and the mana. 1-for-1. Very little turret damage, and that was close to a disaster for Complexity, but Prawley is unfazed. He wants to keep hitting this, but now he's got to back up. At least he burned Hotshot's teleport. He's got Home Guard running through the minefield. Right into the minefield. Well placed by Prawley, shutting down Home Guard right away. They need to run here. They can't get the burst, and he smells Mortis. Bear stands to lock up Mortis. He goes over blue. This could be... Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be a chase forever, but they give up. Yeah, we're going to see some Grand Prix action right there, but he decided, no, I'm going to stay away from the Prawley bomb spam and all those minions. Oh my gosh. CLG has to defend this space, because little did we forget, they don't have Nexus turrets, and they have an exposed inhibitor. So hurtful right now. The inhibitor probably coming up quite soon. That battle quite a few minutes ago here. Now 38 minutes in, probably picking up his blue. Those cooldowns already near max. Definitely going to be maxed after this, and we can see the damage he is putting out. He doesn't even have a Void Staff on him, and he's actually looking to pick up a Zonia's because he wants to actually get himself in there, make sure that Mega Inferno Bomb hits, and he's more than happy to stand right under it.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at Prawley right now. He's sitting at about 30 magic penetration, and there's not a huge amount of MR on CLG. Like, they actually haven't. We harked on complexity so much and be like, you know that super fed AP carry that you didn't buy a Runic Bulwark or an Aegis against? It's like CLG's doing the same thing right now. It's not really at the fault of Chouster, though, because he has been completely starved of farm this entire game. Like, Leta Mortis has 4,500 more gold than Chouster right now. So, yes, he doesn't have an Aegis Chouster, but he's been trying. He's going for it. In another 100 gold, he's going to be able to buy one. I don't know if CLG has that much time, though, because Complexity is looking for a fight right now.
And there's 3,000 gold alone in favor of MIA in his support build as well. Haunting Guys looking at Leandries. He is putting out some damage as well. Probably cannot be the one focus here. Loudamort is trying to peel for Prawley. He waits on the taunt, and he actually gives him just enough room. This could be the fight that they want. They force CLG back out of that one. Big plays there by Loudamortis for Prawley.
But look at this. That's almost every ult from Complexity burn. The only one they saved is MIA's and Loudamortis's, so they're going to try to siege down this turret, but Chouster has his initiation. All of CLG's stuff is up. They have to go if they want to save this turret and inhibit him.
That's one turret down. They did not bat an eye at that one. Hotshot GG coming from the backside. He wanted the home guard to start. Loudamortis is really the only one that takes the finals mark. Probably satcheled out of Cataclysm. Can they continue this damage? It's going to be Chouster going down as they back off Loudamortis as well from double lift. And they're trying to get the few bits of poke damage in here. Hotshot trying to run. Varus is able to shred down that percentage health damage. Nick Wu right on the outside. Hotshot just trying to get, or got locked up rather.
And they got to remember, they have no Nexus turret, so if Complexity wants to keep pushing, they could try to rush it down again. It is a 4v4. They traded jungler for jungle and part of the base for base. Prawley almost got decapitated by a light, but that's not the right word. Just about died from Link's final spark there, but this is a desperation hold for CLG, and based on those last few fights, it's not looking good. Complexity has been taking this one after all of the stuff that should have already won the game kind of smartly.
We'll see if CLG can do it. We've seen those late game mistakes really be a terror for these inexperienced team, the younger teams, the teams just coming in this season. It really, they start to surmount, they stack up, and Baron was really what allowed them to get that top inhibitor. They were able to do it without it on that bottom, but like you said, CLG was able to draw out all the ultimates. So that fight that CLG is looking for could be prompted here quite soon.
Look how fast this Baron's going down. Hotshot has no teleport, and this is all about the steal again for CLG. If they even want to mess with this, I think they're just giving up the Baron because they have a lot more to worry about in their base.
Is down now in favor of Complexity once again. I don't even think they're going to worry about Dragon, an objective that doesn't matter anymore this late into the game. 41 minutes, 23-14 here in game 1 of week 8.
CLG's trying to catch them by surprise. This is just like the level 1 all over again. It's a 4v5 and they don't have an advantage in the fight. They're going though.
It looks like MIA just knew they were there. He threw a grasping root right into it. Oh, they get exploded by the Mega Inferno. Double lift is right in the eyes of the entire team, and they did not have the positioning for this one.
Hotshot coming in late, but oh my word, Complexity going.
Oh, Nick Wu looking for all the resets right now. Can he get another one? He jumps on, gets the triple kill, looking for more. It's going to be Avramu all the way on the backside. They have the Nexus in the rise, and Complexity yelling from the background.
They are 0-3 against CLG leading up to this moment. Now 1-3, but 1-0 with their new line.
Absolutely amazing play. 4-1. We thought Curse versus Dig in the 3-1 was crazy. 4-1 to start the game. Complexity coming out absolutely ferocious in this matchup.
And that was not an easy task for them to take down CLG. There were so many struggles. I mean, from the Baron steal to the like 20 health Nexus at some point during that game, to keep themselves together after such a difficult year already for them, it's gotta feel good.
And this really could be one of the best learning tools for them. Watch this game, you know, relish in the fact that they did absolutely amazing early game and figure out why it then took another 20 or so minutes after all of that play happened, because that is going to be huge for them when they can fix that.
They're going to be on the road to improvement, right? They have themselves identified those weaknesses as a team of Complexity, not necessarily being able to close games.
Right.
But even if they're not that great at it, they did close it. So Good job.
Absolutely. Probably coming out huge in that game. Obviously going to want to talk to him, but we're going to look at a replay right quick from our first matchup.
Yeah, so this was the level 1 right here in the game where you can see Alphamu was isolated from the rest of the team, and they probably went because they saw MLA's root was down, but they forgot about the E from Varus, the bomb spam from Prawley, and they just took too much damage. I believe Nick Wu started W as well, so they're just like AoEing everybody, and level 1 fights are a little derpy. Right? Everyone's just sitting in a ball using their one spell and auto-attack each other, and the one spell that everyone on Complexity had was better than CLG. So it was a bit of a 4v5, and they had better spells, and they did a good job of taking that lead, at least to the mid-game.
Absolutely, and to even be caught off and then win that fight, really just overall great play. Their minds were in it, and they came today to win. Coming up next, we'll have an interview with Prawley from Complexity, and then 2 of the league's most aggressive top laners go head-to-head. It's Scion Spartan and GGU taking on Voyboy and Curse. Don't go anywhere.